Okay, so let's now look at the advantages of URL rewriting. We know that we can place in forward slash sort of something like home index, and we'll get the index file. We've already looked at using a model to calculate the result of two numbers. But what if we wanted to pass those numbers into the URL? So for example, I might say home index. In actual fact, let's change this to make more sense. So I'm going to say add. So I'm creating a new controller method, and this is going to contain the functionality here. Index will leave in there, but we'll change this just so this is the index. So we need to create a new view here because I want to require in application/views home add.php. Again, this doesn't make sense. On the home page, you wouldn't include adding functionality, but it's just an example. So inside home, let's create a new file and we'll call this add.php. We'll just type in test here to make sure that this all works. We've loaded in our calculator model. We've added 5 and 10 together. Let's just change this to 20. And we're rendering the add view. So this is the home add. There we go. So we already saw this in the last part, that we can call specific controller methods using this URL rewriting. But now let's look at what happens if we want to say something like add 1 and 5, for example. We can actually pick these up within the arguments of this method. Remember, add is the method, home is the controller. So inside of the add method, we can say A and B. So to prove this, let's echo out A. We get 1. And let's echo out B. We get 5. So this is made possible again by the fact that inside of application we have these 3 parameters here that are possible to pass via a URL. We call split URL, which exists down here, and this basically takes the URL, it cuts it up, and then it adds the parameters to the application. Now, because this is done basically over here, we then pass them parameters through to the controller we're asking. So again, once you've studied this back-end functionality, you'll understand it a lot more. And that's what gives us these variables within this controller via these arguments. So we know that they're available, so what we can now do is pass them in here. So inside of add, we're not actually outputting the result yet, but if we refresh here, that's already added the A and B that we've just seen output. But in the add view, we're not actually doing anything with it. So we can say the result is, and we can output this here. So we should now see 6, and we do. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind here. This isn't really, if you think about this, this isn't a, and let's just tidy this up, this isn't a solution to any sort of security problems. We're not actually escaping any data really here. You know, bear in mind that when you're taking data from users, you still need to do all of the necessary security checks, or if you're outputting stuff, escape values if you're outputting as well, just because this is simply a pattern. It is not a solution. It's not a framework that gives you functionality to escape values on output or sanitize them when you input to your database. So when you're outputting things, especially when you're taking values from the user like this to maybe perform database operations, beware that you do need to take security into consideration. But anyway, enough of that. We have successfully taken 2 parameters from the URL and we've output them here by taking them in through the controller. We have used the calc model to calculate them, which we created earlier, and we have output that in a view.